Hey, soldiers, you guys are not going to be able to believe this. Then again, maybe you will be able to believe it. FTX, under the command and control of Sam Bankman Fried, of course, spent $40 million in just over 9 months on hotels, entertainment, flights, and food. Now, look, guys, I don't think I've eaten $1 million worth of food in my entire life. But this is, I guess, what you do when you are spending other people's money. This thing just gets crazier and crazier. Lawyers pointed out that the crypto exchange's Bahamian company, FTX Digital Markets, generated zero customer revenue but spent lavishly. I don't even think lavish is the word. This is insane. Okay. This is like shameless spending. From January to September of 2022, the company spent $15.4 million on luxury hotels and accommodations. The largest chunk of that sum, around $5.8 million, was spent at the Albany Hotel, an oceanside resort with its own yacht marina and golf course. Now keep in mind, a big deal was made about the fact that this cat drove around in a Corolla, okay? Kind of like the old school mob bosses who were smart enough not to draw too much attention to themselves. They wouldn't, they would have pretty decent houses, okay? But out in the street, they weren't flashy. This guy, Sam Bankman Fried, dressed like a bum, pretty much. He had the t-shirt and the shorts. Looks like he never cut or washed his hair. And he drove around in the Corolla. Look at me, Mr. Altruistic, what is it called? Altruistic, effective altruism. That's what he called it. So the guy that was driving around in the Toyota Corolla, really kind of probably thinking, the joke's on them, rubbing it in the faces of the folk that he was basically stealing money from, the investors. Rubbing it in their faces by driving a Corolla. He lived in a $30 million penthouse in Albany until his arrest. Now, I want to go back here. I want to go back to a very important point that I made just a few seconds ago. Lawyers pointed out that the crypto exchange's Bahamian company, FTX Digital Markets, generated zero customer revenue. So it's not like maybe they generated, $1 million and then they spent 40 million. No, they just ripped people off shamelessly. In 2021, one of Albany's founders told Fortune that in high season, accommodation at the resort can cost as much as, get this guys, $60,000 per night. Per night. You're not like renting it for the year. No, this is per night. So pretty much this is a place that I will never see the inside of, because I don't care if I develop the way to terraform Mars and become a trillionaire. I just don't believe in spending money like that. $3.6 million of FTX's hotel spend went to the Grand Hyatt, a 4-star hotel where the cheapest room is $369 per night. So I guess at $369 per night compared to $60,000 per night, he was slumming at $369 per night. In March 2022, the hotel hosted the Caribbean reception for Prince William and Kate, Princess of Wales. FTX spent $28,954 at the hotel the same month. I guess they're using the prince as, to kind of demonstrate what the caliber of this place is. The company also spent $800,000 at the 5-star Rosewood, where one night cost at least $1,100. So FTX had 1,310 employees. If you average it out, they had nearly $12,000 per staff member spent on hotels across 9 months. $12,000 per staff member. $12,000 per staff member across 9 months. It was previously reported that FTX's sister company, Alameda Research, the hedge fund that was helmed by Caroline Ellison, owes $55,000 to Margaritaville Beach Resort, which was founded by singer Jimmy Buffett. I would sing his song Margaritaville, but I don't want to lose subscribers. Resort staff told Bloomberg that FTX employees stayed in around 20 suites for several months, and they had plans to go out on the town together routinely. I bet. The filings reviewed by Insider also showed that FTX spent $6.9 million, let's just go ahead and call it $7 million, on meals and entertainment. Almost half of that was spent on catering, with the largest amount, $1.4 million, spent on catering at the Hyatt. FTX also spent $1 million with a Nassau-based caterer called Six Stars Catering. Look, guys, I'm really not a white tablecloth kind of guy. I'm more into calories, taste, and texture than I am into ambiance. I like sawdust on the floor, along with peanut shells. That's just me. Now, when I was a lobbyist in D.C., my expenses were very, very low because when I took people out to lunch, guess where I usually took them? Ben's Chili Bowl. Great place. If you ever get down to D.C., you got to try it. The half smoke. Excellent. So, I was coming out of there spending like $20 for lunch between two people. It's unclear where the rest of the money was spent. Fox Business previously reported that Bankman Fried often spent $2,500 on lunch for himself and staff, $2,500 at a Nassau bistro. Far cry from the 20 I was spending. Sheesh. And I bet you the food wasn't even as good as Ben's Chili Bowl. A further $3.9 million was spent on flights, plus over $500,000 for, quote, postage and delivery, unquote. That could be related to a Financial Times report that FTX hired private planes to fly Amazon packages from Miami because Amazon didn't deliver to the Bahamas. Oh, man. Look, somebody in the comments had said that, they didn't feel sorry for the investors. A lot of people have said this in the comments. And one person made the point that, look, Tyrone, you're always talking about doing your due diligence. What amount of due diligence did these people do into this company? Really? Hey, good question. Okay. I know just for me, okay, and you can say what you want about me. I don't care. Just looking at Sam Bankman-Fried and his disheveled, the way he carried himself, so disheveled and unkempt, I would have never invested a dime with him. And I know some will say, well, look, Bernie Madoff, he was straight-laced. True, he was. Bernie wouldn't have gotten me, though, because I don't believe in outsourcing my financial future. I was poor when I was coming up, and that made quite the impression on me. I don't want to lose my money. So, no, I would have never invested with Sam Bankman-Fried just looking at him, okay? And just to hear him talk, or Ellison, she sounded like she was 6 years old. And she was always saying, and well, you like a valley girl or something. Yep, I'm exercising bias because I don't want to lose my money and become poor. So be it. Bankman-Fried has pleaded guilty, as we all know, to 8 criminal charges, including wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. He faces up to 115 years in prison. He needs 120 years in prison because there's no way, he has tried to feign ignorance and, I didn't know, I'm sorry. He's tried to do that, and that probably worked well with his parents when he was coming up. All he had to do was just look at him and say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. And whatever hell he did was excused. Well, he knew good and doggone well. There's no way in the world he did not know that his company wasn't making money. And then to go out and spend to this extent, okay, is just unfathomable. So your company is not making any money and you spend $40 million, and part of what you're spending is flying Amazon packages. via private jet. Probably would have been cheaper for them to just ship it to a Miami address and just go there in person and pick it up. Lawyers for FTX and Bankman Fried did not immediately respond to the insider's request for comment, which was sent outside U.S. working hours. Look, that little last part, insider, I don't like that. I don't care when it was sent. They probably are not going to respond to this because there is no defense to it. And this is certainly something that's going to come up in the trial. Okay. These expenses are certainly going to be mentioned before this jury. I presume it will be a jury trial. I think if you can get one person to, kind of waiver, then, you are in a better position than if you just give it to the judge, someone who is well versed on the law, and let him or her decide it, right? You just got one shot with that. But Sam Bankman-Fried, man, look, and there's no allegedly to him spending this money. There are receipts, okay? Margaritaville is owed money, okay? They didn't just make this up. So we got receipts. That's going to be a powerful piece of evidence in the trial. To protect the platform, I will say, allegedly, simply because Sam Bankman-Fried is probably going to be, we did the video on yesterday, the report rather, I like to call them reports, not videos. We did the report on yesterday telling you about how he was hiding some money, okay? And there's more to that story. We're going to get into that on tomorrow's report. But he was hiding money. Watch this video and find this. And check the audacity that this guy had with regard to what he wanted to use the money for. Guys, I'll talk to you soon.